The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Another massive game from OG Anunoby. On both ends of the floor, coast to coast after the turnover, he goes for 28 points. The Knicks held Portland to only 35 points in the second half. Mikal Bridges also scored 28 points. And the Knicks, down by 14 in the third quarter, outscored the Blazers by 31 the rest of the way and win 110-93. Great to have you with us, Bill Pidto, along with Hahn. So on the night we celebrate Clyde Frazier's 80th birthday, and on the night that Jalen Brunson says it's realistic for him to return before the playoffs, the Knicks come back and end up trouncing the Blazers.
And it had to do with defense. It is something that you had to, we talked about it at halftime. The Knicks forced 7 turnovers the first half, only turned it into 5 points. They've been so good at doing that. Second half, another 7 turnovers, but this time 13 points. The turning point of this half was them holding this team to 35 points and also making sure that they got those turnovers and made them pay for them with those points off turnovers.
All right, so Portland scores only 35 in the second half. They scored only 15 in the fourth quarter. Knicks won the fourth quarter 31-15. They were up by 1 after 3 and then ended up dominating the final 12 minutes. The defense was stifling out.
Yeah, it's the steals. Josh Hart had 3 steals. OG Anunoby had 3 steals. But the key is that when they were turning the ball over, make them pay. There's another turnover. There's another Josh Hart steal. Josh Hart was all over the place, too. This was a great game for the 3 wing players on this team with OG Anunoby getting it started. Mikal Bridges got red hot in the second half and really got it going. And then Josh Hart doing everything that Josh Hart does, some defense, some rebounding, and obviously some scoring as well. This was it. They upped the energy. They upped the intensity. It's a fairly young team, and they couldn't handle it when the Knicks really turned it up. They dialed it up defensively. And, Bill, that's what you needed to see from this team. As Denny Avdija, I mean, there's a great shot there. He was tough to stop because he kept getting to his right hand. You saw that time they forced him to his left. He still made the shot. And here's the extra effort we're talking about from the wing players. They dialed it up, and it just shows you that when they play this hard, Bill, they can play defense at an elite level.
All right, so you see the numbers. Look at the bench points. Precious Achiuwa had 10 points in the second quarter.
Shamet, too.
Shamet with a nice game. Shamet off the bench in this game off the bench had 11. He had 13 against the Bucks. And they won by 17, even though Karl-Anthony Towns scored only 10 points. Here now with Mikal Bridges. Mikal, great game. You guys were down by 14. From that point on, you outscored them by 31 points. How'd you do it?
Defensively. I think that's the biggest thing. And all of us just not playing good defense and not team defense as well. So I think we picked it up, got stops, and then we was flowing.
Another great game for you offensively with 28 points. You've been putting up huge numbers of late. What has led to your offensive consistency here in recent games?
Just trust my work and my teammates. I think, just let me play, get me involved, and try to make the right read. That's pretty much. It's just all credit to my teammates.
Congrats, Mikal. Thanks for stopping by. Great game.
Yeah, no, thank you, man.
Allen, without Brunson, Bridges in the 12 games averaging over 22 a game, and he went for 28 in this one.
Yeah, and how about a buzzer beater? Why not? Since the last time you saw Portland, he hit one. That was at the end of the first quarter. Of course, the biggest one was in overtime in Portland a couple of weeks ago. But it was the second half where he really got things going. And you just see when he's on the move, the most important thing is to find him when he's cutting. I love this little defensive play, too, by Bridges. A lot of perimeter defense that they had to adjust to in the second half. But with Bridges, the key has always been his activity and his movement. And he is excellent when it comes to cutting. He's also a guy that gets out quick when there's a turnover. He and Anunoby are so good at when there is a deflection or a turnover, one of them races out and they try to get quick points. When he gets into rhythm like that, Bill, that's when the shots start falling for him and he gets real comfortable and he becomes difficult to stop. This is an example of all the weapons the Knicks do have in this starting 5. And without Jalen Brunson, the question was who's going to make up the scoring? And as Tom Thibodeau said, it's not going to be one. It's going to take several. And you're seeing it right now.
Think about this. They won in Milwaukee on Friday, and Cat scored only 14.
Yeah.
Of course, no Brunson. Tonight, no Brunson. I mentioned Cat scored only 10, and they still put up 110 points.
Doc Rivers said after the game in Milwaukee the goal was just to stop Karl-Anthony Towns, take him out of the game. They weren't able to stop anybody else, and OG Anunoby was a big part of it. The same thing when you watched early in this game, what Portland was doing is Donovan Clingan was not guarding Towns. They had a wing on Towns, and Clingan, every time he touched the ball, would come over and double. So what do? Find the open man, and that's exactly what the Knicks started to do.
All right, so OG Anunoby, when you look at what he's doing on offense, you have to remember he's spending a lot of energy guarding the other player, the other team's best offensive player, and he's still scoring at this remarkable clip. This is 6 straight games with at least 20. He had 31 against the Bucks, and he had 28 in this one.
And again, he told us the other night it was about him just being aggressive, and he was aggressive from the start of this game. And he's looking at who's guarding him and saying to himself, I can beat this guy. He has developed the shot. You give him credit for watching film, not on just opponents, but on himself, and seeing what more can I do, what can I change. And some of it has simply been activity and being aggressive and looking to shoot. Some other things have been a move here or two that he's worked on, that he's talked about. But his defense has always been elite in the league. He'll be an all-defensive selection this season. And I just think he is such a difference maker at both ends of the floor. And as you mentioned, what's different about him compared to a lot of players doing it on both ends of the floor at a high level? Conditioning. He's in incredible shape right now.
Think about all he's doing on both ends of the floor. Just been incredible here late. Monica McNutt helped call the game on ESPN New York, and she's got a special. Oh, look at this. The birthday boy is with you.
So,
happy birthday to you.
You can't hear them. You don't want to hear them. Don't worry.
I'm trying to
really
sing
quickly,
to him.
Clyde, before we let you go, enjoy the rest of your birthday. You feel the love today?
I did, Monica. It's overwhelming. That's why it keeps me humble. The love and affection people show me throughout the city. The greatest city in the world, man. They treat me so magnificently. But, I want to give back. I can see clearly now, being 80 years of age, I know what I want to do, and it's going to be trying to help other people because so many people have helped me.
Well, Clyde, you have already helped so many people. I'm sure that will continue in whatever way you see fit. Now I'm going to tell them to leave you alone so you can enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Well, Monica, wait a second. Don't let him go.
Come on.
No. This is very important.
Okay, Alan is saying something. Remember, I only have the one earpiece, but go ahead.
That's why you're going to have to relay this.
Okay.
Clyde has to know he can't leave until he gets this jacket back. Because if I go home with it, it's not ever coming
Alan
back.
said you can't leave until you get your jacket back. Because if he goes home with it, you won't get it back. We'll make sure that he gets the jacket. Betsy's here.
He pulled it off tonight. A+, Alan. You got the A+.
I love you, Clyde.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Clyde. Oh, man, guys, what a terrific night celebrating 80 years. Oh, we should all be so lucky to get to 80 and look that good. But anyway, Pidto, what's up? What are we talking about? Basketball?
Yeah, what'd you think?
Okay.
How about the Wings on offense? We have that name Wingstop for OG and Bridges on defense.
Yeah, man.
But how about them on offense?
Hot Wings.
There you go, Hot Wings.
Ooh, hot wings. Can you stand the fire? So efficient. I loved it. I think it looks seamless. And I know I've told this story multiple times in our broadcast, you guys, but I keep going back to that early season game in Detroit. Jalen Brunson, after shoot-around, the question was, when is Mikal Bridges playing his best basketball? And without missing a beat, he said, when he doesn't have to think. And to me, both Bridges and Anunoby right now are playing such beautiful, cerebral, instinctual basketball on both sides of the floor that it's really a sight to behold. And they certainly have represented twin engines so far for this Knicks team in the last 10 games or so.
That's such a perfect way to put it, right? It's the idea that they are just playing on instinct, instinctual basketball, constant motion. OG has told us it's about him just staying aggressive and being aggressive. There's a third element to this, though, I wanted to bring up, Monica, and that's Josh Hart.
Yeah.
You can't forget also, like, though he didn't have a triple-double, he came close again. I also felt like his contributions in the second half, defensively, energy-wise, it's another game where he realized that someone's got to raise the level in this building, and I'm going to be the guy to do it. He came up with some big steals, rebounds, and assists in that second half.
Yeah, there was the half-court shot by Bridges that had this place wake up a little bit. Then there was like that lull in the third quarter. Then the second part of the third quarter, I think you're exactly right. You start to see Josh Hart come alive a bit. And then in the fourth quarter, this team really turns on their defense. I mean, holding these guys to 35 points in the second half is no small feat, and that's a total team effort. But again, I had the chance to sit down with Josh Hart. I can't wait for y'all to see our final episode of Game Ready. But he has talked so much about just serving this team and being willing to do whatever it is that this team needs, whether that's scoring, rebounding, energy, assists. And we know that he's capable of stuffing the stat sheet for sure.
All right, Monica, great stuff as always. We'll talk to you on Tuesday night when the Knicks play host to Philadelphia. Up next, we're going to listen in to Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau. Knicks now 47-27, 3 wins away from another 50-win season. We'll be back with more after this.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Welcome back, everyone. The Knicks outscore the Blazers 31-15 in the fourth quarter and end up beating Portland 110-93. Back now from the Corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. So next up for the Knicks, they are home to take on Philadelphia on Tuesday night. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30. The Sixers in need of a new process. All the injuries, Joel Embiid has been shut down for the year, and so too has Paul George. Let's now listen into the post-game comments from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau, as always, presented by Chase.
I thought the defensive activity, intensity picked up. Once the ball pressure got better, we got some steals, we got some blocks, and then we got into the open floor, got some fast break points, and then we got into a good rhythm.
You guys are, I think, top 5, maybe 4 in forcing turnovers this month. Is that just a kind of a benefit, or not benefit, but just kind of a product of the personnel out there, or is there something you guys are doing differently to try to?
No, I think overall the physicality is a lot better. I think guys understand, what we're trying to do. The communication's a lot better. Having Mitch is a big factor in that. I thought Mitch's defense was a huge factor in the third quarter. The ball pressure, the rim protection. And when you have somebody like that out there, then everyone gets a lot more aggressive. OG and Mikhail are playing at a very, very high level. And then, Josh did all the things he normally does. I thought DeLon gave us great minutes. And then I thought our bench was really good. I thought, looking at what Mitch brought to the game, what Precious brought to the game, Landry, Tyler, it was huge for us because we were flat and they got us going.
What did he see?
He's got great size, at his position. That's his gift, is his defense, and he gets a lot of deflections. He's very good on the ball. It allows you to do more switching. So he has great impact on the game. He plays hard on every possession.
You mentioned Mitch's effect on the turnovers. Does having him on the back end, does that allow guys on the perimeter to get up?
Yeah, well, I think when you have someone back there, and he's an elite pick and roll defender, and then his anticipation at the rim. He can cover up for mistakes. His communication is really good, and I think his understanding of what we're doing is really good.
Tom, when you said the physicality has gone up, and they now understand what you guys are trying to do, was that like a process to?
Yeah, well, I think it's a compilation of things. I think one is to adjust to how the game's being called, and I think in general. When you talk about NBA defense, it's contact with intelligence. There's a physicality to it, and I think you have to understand body position. You have to have good technique, and everyone has to be tied together. And I think you have to do it, every play. The players are too good. If there's no contact, there's going to be too much of a rhythm.
On Tuesday night, the Knicks are back home to host the 76ers. Pre-game at 7, game at 7:30. Knicks tonight hold Portland only 35 points in the second half. Here's Alan Hahn after the game with Josh Hart.
What was the defensive adjustment in the second half?
Play better defense and play harder. Simple as that? It was that simple. It took us a little while to get started. It was a 6 o'clock game. I think we forgot. So when 7:30 hit, that's when we started playing. So, we just had to pick it up.
When Mikal Bridges gets going like that, what is it that you've seen that turns his game and turns it on like that?
I think it's twofold. Obviously, defensively, he gets into the ball and gets that competitive nature. That leaks into the offense, and then he's a killer in the mid-range, and that's a shot that they were giving him all day. So we're comfortable with him shooting those shots. We want him shooting those shots, and we want him to keep being aggressive. And
how about what OG Anunoby's been doing here? This is 6 straight games. He's scoring over 20 points. He talked about just being aggressive on everything that he does. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I think obviously he's always had the catch and shoot ability, and sometimes in the post, but he's using his frame. He's able to get to the basket. Use that physicality. and either finish or get to the line. So, especially, with guys down, Deuce, Jalen, Cam, we need guys to be aggressive, and those two are really hooping right now.
Seeing from Landry and the way he's been shooting the last few games, looks like he's found a pretty good groove. You agree with that?
He's knocking shots down. He's competing on the defensive end. And he's doing exactly what we need him to do. So we love him being aggressive. We love him knocking down shots, and we need that to continue. So loving how he's playing right now, and he's continuing to give us energy.
Over the last month and a half, you guys have been like top 5 in forcing turnovers. How much of that is just the natural change of the personnel? How much have you guys made tweaks because of that? Is there anything that you can pinpoint as to why that's kind of turned up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, personnel, definitely. Getting Mitch back allows us to be more aggressive on the ball because, I got your back, bro. My dog. Because obviously, he's back there and able to block shots and deter shots. So it allows us to be more aggressive on the ball. And, the last, month and a half, OG has been a monster defensively, blowing up screens, blowing up handoffs, being like a free safety on that backside. So personnel obviously helps, but just that aggression that we needed early in the season.
So you heard Hart reference Landry Shamet. Shamet against Milwaukee Friday night tied a season high with 13 points. Tonight, 11 more, including 3 of 6 from downtown. Here's Shamet now after the game with Alan Hahn.
Landry, what has been working for you being more effective off the bench?
I think the big thing right now is all of us, there's just a heightened sense of urgency just trying to ramp up for the playoffs. This time of the year is, when you have to kind of lock in on some things and clean some stuff up going into the postseason. And I think, with the injuries we've had, a lot of people could view it as like a downside, but I think it's an opportunity with the challenge. Figure out how to win some of these games with, being short-staffed and, so it's an opportunity. I think we're all just kind of trying to sharpen some things up and, figure out how we can, find some marginal wins night in and night out.
What did you see tonight that allowed you guys to kind of regain momentum and then run away with it?
We picked up our physicality and our activity big time defensively. That was really the story there. You guys saw it. A lot of our points came in transition. OG was amazing. Josh, guys guarding one-on-one, us guarding as a team, flying around, helping each other. When we do that and we're physical and we talk, we're pretty hard to deal with. So, we were able to do that, which was good. We responded after letting that slide a little bit at half and then figured that out.
You're one of the wings on this team. Do you come in with a mentality, especially when you see what the starters do on the wings, OG, Bridges, Josh, do you come in and have that same aggressive, let's get some turnovers and turn it into points?
For sure. We talk about it. On the bench, we have a number of things that we try to, keep at the top of the mind when we're going into the game and, kind of just seeing where we're at. How many fouls do we have? Just a chance to be aggressive, be extra physical, maybe pick one up out front. We're not in the bonus yet. So things like that try to be mindful of. And just, obviously if things are going a certain way, trying to keep it at that level. If they're not, if we come out flat, again, it's opportunity for us to come in and maybe try to inject some life, change the game. So, there's a lot to look at and pay attention to the first, 7 minutes of the game. And when you get in, it's, how can you either match it or elevate it?
So Shamet with 11, and don't forget Precious Achiuwa, 10 points all in the second quarter, and the Knicks bench outscored the Portland bench 23-4. That was another number in the Knicks' favor as they beat the Blazers 110-93. Tom Thibodeau and Chauncey Billups after the game. Knicks with a win. We will take a look ahead when we come back right after this. Stay with us, everybody. What a great night indeed, celebrating Clyde Frazier's 80th birthday. For the Knicks, 8 games left, including, look at this, count 3 back-to-backs over the next 10 days or so. Tuesday and Wednesday, Saturday and Sunday, and then next Thursday and Friday. We'll be back with more right after this. "80 years of Clyde. Happy birthday to the one and only Clyde Frazier." We'll see you again on Tuesday night. Pregame at 7, game at 7:30. Knicks in Philly. You can stream our coverage as well on MSG Plus now in the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.